So Fortnite has had a lot of crossovers. Many of them super duper epic, some were somewhat disappointing. But regardless, today we're gonna go on ahead and take a look at every single outfit that Fortnite has had that has been a crossover with another property, another character, another celebrity, another show, another fill in the blank. Regardless, of course, guys, if you do enjoy today's video, hit that thumbs up button. I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys down in the comment section below. I was gonna first say leave your favorite Fortnite crossover outfit, but I do realize that that is just simply too difficult to choose. When I went ahead and listed out all of these outfits, I was like, bro, there's so much here. It's insane. So instead, here's what I'm going to do. Let's go on ahead and have you guys name your 3 most favorite outfits. So let me know down in the comment section below, what are the 3 that either you covet, that you have already, or maybe some of those 3 could also be skins that you've missed out on, that you kind of kick yourself for thinking, dang it, I really wish I could add those to my collection in Fortnite. So with all that in mind, I did go on ahead and compartmentalize all of these into specific themes. So we're going to go through the different themes one by one, and we're going to kick things off with the gaming greats. So the gaming greats are obviously the skins that were kind of the latest set of crossovers that we've gotten. They were introduced this past season officially, although the very first gaming great, fun fact, was actually quite a while ago, and that would be the one and only known as the Borderlands Psycho Bandits. So this was, of course, a crossover, I believe in, I want to say season 7 or 8 of chapter 1 of Fortnite, but I honestly can't remember exactly. It's a really cool design. Of course, it's kind of the default looking Psycho Bandit from Borderlands. I think the coolest thing about this character was actually the claptrap back bling. But again, that was our first gaming great that we received. Next, we of course got epic crossovers with the Halo and God of War franchises. So on the Halo side of things, we got Master Chief, and Master Chief actually did get 2 different recolors. He was available as the classic sort of greenish, dark military green sort of outfit that he's typically known for, or armor that he's typically known for, across the board. So you can purchase that particular costume whether you are on the Nintendo Switch or you are on the PlayStation, which was really cool to see. But for Xbox players, you got that exclusive recolor, which was the all matte black design, which looks super duper stylish. And I kind of wish, this is one of those ones that I kind of wish I did pick up, because I really do like this recolor and it looks super duper sick. Now, speaking of God of War, Kratos, also just like Master Chief, was available across the board. This was, of course, a design that was based on the new God of War game. Looks spectacular. And then for the PlayStation players, you were indeed able to pick up an exclusive, just like with Master Chief, but here you got an armored Kratos in that gold epic armor that he was in the game as well. Then from there, our next gaming greats actually came out relatively recently, and they were the Street Fighter combo of Ryu and Chun-Li. Ryu does come along with 2 different styles as well. So you had kind of the gi, or like the full-on outfit. I was gonna say it's Jodo or karate, but I'm not 100% sure. I think it's a karate outfit, but I'm not sure. And then you have one where he's kind of shirtless and he's got the beard, and it's the black outfit instead of the white outfit. For Chun-Li, you also do got 2 variations, one more kind of classic Chun-Li, and then the other redesign is just a bit of a different outfit. And I think from what I remember, she didn't have like the hair bun covers for that other outfit as well. So those were our gaming greats. From there, where are we going to bounce off to? Well, why don't we head to a galaxy far, far away. So Star Wars has had plenty of epic crossovers with Fortnite, and we're going to go on ahead and run through those. We're going to kick things off with the Force Awakens being represented absolutely tremendously in this game, as we kick things off with Rey. Then we got Finn, we had Kylo, we had the Stormtrooper, but the Stormtrooper was kind of a 1-2 punch combo, because not only did we get the Stormtrooper, we actually also did get the Sith Trooper, who turned out super duper cool. Then probably the biggest surprise personally to me, because if you named the characters of The Force Awakens, I would probably say that the ones we would get are the ones that we got, like Rey, Finn, Kylo, but the next one that I would guess would be Poe Dameron. However, instead, to kind of throw a huge curveball our way, Fortnite actually added Zori Bliss, which was kind of surprising. Again, a really unique looking character for sure, so I'm glad to have her in the game, but definitely surprised considering how little time this character spent in the Star Wars universe. It was very surprising to see this one be added. But that is not all, because of course the most recent season, I should say, of Fortnite also introduced the hugely popular character of Mandalorian / Grogu, or Baby Yoda, who is obviously epic. And he did also get multiple styles. So you've got the regular armor, and then you've got the Beskar armor, which is something that you work towards unlocking as you work your way through the game. Next up after that, we are headed to our icons. So this is the sort of like based on real life celebrities, YouTubers, gamers, streamers. That's kind of the theme for this next category. So first and foremost, we're going to kick things off with the one known as Major Lazer. Next up after that, we had Marshmallow, who is still to this day one of the coolest skins they've ever done. Just a really unique design. I really love the overall aesthetic of this one. Definitely a character that fits into the Fortnite universe. After that, we've got Lachlan, or Lachlan. I don't know how to say the name correctly. This one actually had a really cool emote as well, so I'm definitely glad to have picked that one up. Over to the next one we go, which was a Gref. I don't know how you say this guy's name, so I apologize. I'm not trying to troll or mispronounce it. I think it's Grefg. Sorry for mispronouncing your name. You got a cool icon skin, so there you go. Next up after that, we've got Travis Scott / Astro Jack. So Travis Scott got 2 releases. One that is actually based on him, like the actual singer or rapper, and then one that is based on the character of Astro Jack, or I think that's like his Cactus Jack sort of persona. So really cool designs, both of them highly popular, and definitely a skin that is very popular among some sweats in the Fortnite video game. Then from there we transition to Ninja. After that, we have Loser Fruit, which I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And last but certainly not least, speaking of Laser Beam, this is the most recent icon skin known as Laser Beam, who is a YouTuber. So from there, we transition to our next category, which will actually go on ahead and take us to some movie icons. So from real life icon series to some movie icons. So these are basically designs that I went ahead and bundled together on the basis of characters that are from popular films or franchises, all put into this particular batch. So first and foremost, we have the secret skin of the most recent Fortnite season, and that is the Predator, who comes along in 2 different styles. So you've got, of course, masked and unmasked. Then we had the epic edition of Terminator, which featured, of course, Sarah Connor in 2 different styles. So she's got like the one with the hat and the glasses, and then one without that. And then also, of course, you've got the T-800 Terminator. Still wish we would have got Arnie in that crossover as well. That would have been really cool. Then we head over to the Alien franchise, which featured the release of Ripley in 2 different designs, as well as the Xenomorph, which is one of the very coolest skins they've ever done. After that, we've got John Wick. Sorry, that's the wrong John Wick. That used to be budget John Wick before they did an official crossover. The real John Wick, of course, turned out to be quite epic as well. We got 2 different designs for that one, kind of almost like a battle damage design, or I guess after he's been through a fight design, and then one before he's been through a fight. So you got kind of the hair going sleeked back, and then one where it's like sort of coming down and he's got like bullet holes on his jacket and stuff like that. And then the other crossover was also from the John Wick universe, and it was Sophia Al as War, which was very, very cool. Then from there, we go on ahead and transition to our next theme, which is going to be inspired by. So this was two sets of characters that I honestly didn't know where they belong. So I just called this particular outfit category inspired by, because they're not really based on the actual themes that we're going to discuss. So let me just mention the ones that I'm talking about, and I think you'll get what I mean. First and foremost, we have Ghostbusters. So what they did is they basically took the Ghostbusters designs, and then they did a bunch of their own like variations of characters that are wearing the Ghostbusters outfit. So this is almost kind of like cosplay packs, where they're not necessarily like the Ghostbusters. Like we didn't get any characters from the Ghostbusters movies, which would have been cool. I think that would have been kind of neat to see, but instead they chose to be creating their own characters inspired by the Ghostbusters. The other franchise that they've done this with was much more recent, and that was with Tron. And I think that this one turned out pretty cool as well. Again, they did the exact or like a very similar thing where they went ahead and did not actually use any characters from the Tron movies or any other properties that were involved with Tron. Instead, they just took the costumes and the ideas and the designs and then put them onto characters that Fortnite or Epic Games themselves had designed. So cool designs, definitely not some of my favorites, but had to go on ahead and mention them for sure. The next theme fits very nicely after this inspired theme, because the next one is actually inspired by sports or crossovers with sports franchises. So Fortnite has so far done a crossover with the NFL, which is the National Football League, which features a bunch of different football styled skins. And then speaking of proper football, the kind of football that I actually like, or as all of the North Americans call it, soccer, or I guess more specifically, not even all North Americans, just Canadians and Americans call it soccer. And they've done a crossover with a handful of teams there. I don't want to talk about it because they didn't do a crossover with Barcelona, so we're just going to move right along. From there, let's hop over to the streaming or the, I guess, TV show realm. Let's call it that. TV/streaming. And we're going to kick things off with Stranger Things, where we received Hopper, and he does come along with two different styles as well. So you had the hat on, the hat off. That was pretty much the entire distinct variants there for Hopper, the police chief from the Stranger Things universe. And then along with Hopper, we also did get the Demogorgon, which was super surprising. Still to this day, one of the creepiest looking characters that they've ever done. It's just this flower head with teeth that has this like terrifying animation. Just a really, really creepy looking skin outfit. Very cool crossover for sure. And then we head to another horror themed, I guess, maybe I should have called this category the horror theme instead, because we have the addition of Daryl Dixon and Michonne from the Walking Dead franchises. And they too got two different styles each, which was very, very cool. They have this like kind of hoodie/poncho design, which are really cool looking. I really like the katana animation for Michonne. Probably my favorite part of that particular pack. But obviously, as somebody who's a huge fan of the Walking Dead comic book, I was super duper stoked to have Michonne in game for Fortnite. Very, very cool to see. And I'm sure for those of you that are fans of the Walking Dead show, you were super duper happy to see Daryl added into the game as well. Now, before we get to the big ones, and I know you guys are probably thinking at this point, bro, why hasn't he talked about Marvel and DC? What's going on here? This guy is skipping them on purpose. We'll get to them eventually. Don't worry, guys. Before we get to that, though, we do need to cover one more category, and this is the random category. I just didn't know where these characters kind of fit in, and this is going to be G.I. Joe's Snake Eyes. A really cool costume, a really cool character, and I think that this is probably going to be one of many Hasbro crossovers that we'll see down the line with Epic Games, because just recently Hasbro has announced that they've acquired the license to make Epic Games based Fortnite content, Fortnite figures and products. So as they're releasing different toys based on Fortnite, I'm sure that that relationship will be two ways, and we'll see maybe Transformers and G.I. Joe, additional Joes, being added into the game. Next up from there, we're going to discuss Eraser and Korohumura, whose I definitely butchered his name, so I apologize about that. Korohumura. I hope I'm saying that kind of correctly. But these two characters are actually from the game of Battle Breakers. I've never played Battle Breakers, but I will say that I think both of these character designs look really, really cool. Some of the coolest, most like unique kind of anime inspired characters. And I looked at the art style for Battle Breakers and what these were based on, and honestly, they did a tremendous job of capturing the personalities and the art style of these characters. So these are definitely huge successes, and I'm sure if you're a fan of Battle Breakers, you were very happy with these designs. And so now it's time to get to the main event, the two themes that I personally most care for when they do these crossovers. We're gonna kick things off with the most recent of these releases. Well, actually, I don't remember if Green Arrow came out before The Flash. I think actually Green Arrow, regardless, let's kick things off with Green Arrow. Green Arrow was based on the Arrow TV show. I believe everybody when I'm streaming told me that this is the season 5 costume of Arrow. I think it looks cool. Personally though, as somebody who's a much bigger fan of the comics than I am of the shows, I would have loved to see a costume that is a little bit more classic looking and a little bit more similar, I guess, to the comics, particularly because they've done a lot of other designs that are based on the comics. So I think it would have been cool to get a Green Arrow with like the blonde goatee and just a much kind of like brighter green costume. I think that would have been really neat to see. Other than that though, no complaints. And this was actually also, fun fact, released as part of the Fortnite crew. Now from there, we're gonna hop over to Aquaman, and Aquaman actually did get two different styles. These were actually both based on the movies, so these are inspired by the Jason Momoa rendition or Jason Momoa version of Aquaman, which, to be fair, nowadays, even in the comics, Aquaman looks very similar to how he did in the Aquaman movies. So I guess you could maybe make the case this is just simply modern Aquaman. Really cool designs. You got both the armored and non-armored looks, so you can go either way. And he did come along with that epic trident, which was a really cool pickaxe or harvesting tool within the game. Then we've got one of my personal favorites, Black Manta, just an absolutely sleek and awesome looking costume for Black Manta, black matte design, and of course the big glowing red eyes. Really sick looking costume, really sick looking character. Very, very happy that they went ahead and added this one. After that, we've got the fastest man alive, Barry Allen, aka The Flash, who turned out really cool. Once again, it's clear that they went for the inspired look by the show. I personally would have liked to see something a little bit more classic, or the best of both worlds would have been if they gave us two styles, one based on, let's say, the show or the movies, and then one based on the comics, which is something that they did with Batman, who we're going to take a look at here in just 1 second. But I would have loved to see that for Flash and, as I previously mentioned, Green Arrow as well. Speaking of Batman, the next one that we're going to discuss is actually Batman, and this is exactly what they did with this release. This was, I believe this was actually the very first DC Comics crossover that they did, and I love that they gave us both variations. So we got a Dark Knight based suit, which makes him look like he did in the Dark Knight film, the Christian Bale Batman, and then we got a comic book inspired design, kind of New 52 costume. Very cool. You get the best of both worlds. I think it would have been awesome if they did a similar thing for the Flash, Green Arrow, etc. Next up from there, we hop over to the next design, which will be Catwoman. This design, in my personal opinion, is a little bit underwhelming. I just feel like they've done other designs in the game, and even some of the other comic designs, they were a little bit more inspired. To be fair, I guess there's really not much to work with as far as like Catwoman's costume. It's pretty plain. Like, it's not like she has a lot of different colors on her costume, or she has like a cape or something that's a lot more like extravagant to make the character seem a lot more unique. But again, definitely not one of my personal favorites. It's just a little bit too plain looking, in my opinion. Next up from there, the complete opposite of Catwoman is Harley Quinn, who actually gets a very, very colorful set of costumes. She does have two different designs, one based on the Suicide Squad movie or that particular look, and then one based on Birds of Prey. I think they're both cool, but I've been really, really hoping we would get a classic Harley, and what do you know? It is official, part of this next big Fortnite 0 point or Batman 0 point storyline that will be a crossover in the comics where you'll collect codes and then you'll be able to use those codes in the Fortnite video game to unlock digital skins or digital goods. You will be indeed getting a classic Harley as well, so I'm super duper stoked to see that. And then from there, of course, if you've got Batman, you got Harley, you got Catwoman, you gotta have Joker as well. So part of the Last Laugh bundle, we did receive the Joker, the Clown Prince of Crime, who actually did get quite a few different styles for his particular costume. So you had one with the hat, without the hat, with the jacket, without the jacket. So just kind of like a whole bunch of different looks for the character. This is definitely inspired more so by the comics. No movie design was given for the Joker, and that's again kind of my complaint with some of these designs, is that they seem to be constantly like jumping from stuff that's based on the movies versus stuff that's actually based on the comics. And I just think that it would be really cool if we could get a set of characters so that they all fit in. Like if I have the Joker, it'd be cool if he looks like he does, but then I need a Harley Quinn that looks like she does in the comics, so that they kind of match, you know? So again, hopefully we'll see a little bit more uniformity going forward with some of these crossovers. And then last but certainly not least, one that I actually think is a little bit of an underrated skin, and that is Poison Ivy. I think they knocked it out of the park with this one. Like pretty much everything that you could expect for a Poison Ivy design was captured here. So I think they did a good job with this one. And again, the more Batman and Bat Universe characters we get, the happier I'll be. So this was definitely a huge thumbs up from me. And now it's time for the final theme, and that is of course Marvel. Now just so you understand, we're talking about somewhere in the ballpark of about 23 characters to talk about, so I'm not going to be able to blabber on about each one in detail. So we're going to run through these quick, or otherwise this is going to be like an hour-long video. Let's rock and roll. Here we go. We're going to kick things off with Starlord. Very cool design. Again, wish that we would have gotten an unmasked look, but I guess maybe they didn't want to go that route in order to not have something based on Peter Quill or Chris Pratt to pay the rights or licensing fees or whatever it might be for that particular look. Then we have Venom, because Venom is awesome. Venom is probably my favorite crossover skin that they've done with Marvel. I just really love this design, and in particular, as cool as the regular Venom is and the cool emote that they had for Venom, Extreme Venom, which is a style for Venom that you get when you purchase the Venom skin, is just phenomenal. Really, really sick. Cool harvesting tool. The only thing that was terrible about Venom was the back bling. Other than that, absolutely ridiculously epic. Then we're going to discuss the absolutely wonderful season of Fortnite that we got, which was that crazy crossover season of Nexus War, where we got a bunch of Marvel skins as part of that season. I think about 8 of them in total. So let's run through them. First and foremost, we have Thor. Thor did get a couple of designs. So you get the Herald of Galactus, the Herald, was it the Herald of Galactus, or is it the Herald of Thunder? I don't remember what he was called. The point is, you had a few different designs for Thor. Then we had Iron Man / Tony Stark. So again, if you want to separate those two as two separate characters, I guess you can kind of do that. Although you can't, because they're like obviously the same character, and you even have the built-in emote for Tony Stark to turn into Iron Man and back and forth. But regardless, if you want to consider those two as separate, I guess there you go. Then we had Jennifer Walters and She-Hulk. So again, you can go on ahead and interpret these two however you see fit, if you want to consider it, because they are obviously very different looking designs and skins, quote unquote. So if you want to consider those two outfits, then obviously your count will be quite a bit larger than the 23 characters that I just mentioned a little bit earlier. Next up from there, we had Wolverine. We did come along with 3 styles, I guess. So you had the classic Wolverine, then you had the brown costume Wolverine, and then you had Logan, which is kind of like the unmasked design. So that was very, very cool to see. And then obviously I'm not including as part of all this, all the different color variations that you could get. So like the chromium Wolverine, then you had the silver Wolverine, then etc. so on and so forth. Then from there, we've got Mystique, who's looking pretty cool indeed. Once again, also did have 2 different styles for that character. We've got my boy Groot, and with him, I guess if you want to include, since he is obviously kind of how I included Grogu as a back bling for Mandalorian. If you want to include Rocket Raccoon as a back bling for Groot, you can do so as well. Then we've got Storm, which is super duper cool, a super underrated actually design, I would say. Like when you go back and you look at that design, it's like, holy, they knocked it out of the park with that. Just a really cool modern take on Storm while still paying homage to classic like 90s Storm. Super cool design. Then we had, as part of that Nexus War Battle Pass, Dr. Doom, who actually did get also a couple of different variations and styles, like the Emperor Doom. So again, if you want to consider those as separate skins, you can do so, although I think those should just be considered styles instead of skins. So that was our Nexus War set of characters. From there, let's hop over to the Silver Surfer himself. A really cool design, just in the sense that I think the Silver Surfer is a really cool character. Obviously, if you're not knowledgeable on the Silver Surfer, you look at this character, you'll probably be like, bro, it's literally like the guy from the Oscars statue, just painted silver. Like, what's the big deal here? But maybe because I'm a huge fan of the character in the comics, I was super glad to have him in the game. Plus, getting the Silver Surfer board in the game was definitely a really cool item. And the fact that you could have other characters use it was a really, really nice touch as well. Speaking of epic characters, we've got our next one here, which is a Ghost Rider. I love this design. I seriously have only two minor gripes with this particular release, and that is the back bling. I think it's terrible. It's kind of similar to Venom. It's just like a ball of fire with chains. I really don't like it. I think it just doesn't make any sense. And my other complaint, which is the biggest complaint with this character, is that I wish they would have been able to make characters actually sit on the Hell Cycle glider instead of have to stand on it like it's a surfboard. I think it's a little bit lame looking. If they could have possibly somehow had characters animated to sit down on the Hell Cycle, that would be so cool to see. I don't know how difficult that is from a technical standpoint, but I think that's my biggest complaint with this particular character. Next up from there, we're gonna go on ahead and discuss Black Widow, who was actually released two different times separately. So initially she was released with Starlord. She was like part of the first two Marvel characters that we had gotten, and it was kind of the much more classic looking, like comic book Black Widow. And then more recently, this past year in 2020, we actually got a Black Widow design that is based on her white costume that she is shown to be wearing in the up-and-coming Black Widow movie. So really cool that we got two different variations, very unique costumes, very unique takes. I still agree with the people who make the criticism about the fact that it would have been nice if these were just like styles for Black Widow, or if you could have got some sort of discount if you purchased the original Black Widow, then you'd get this other one at a much more reduced price, since you already technically own the character and this is just a variation of that outfit. Valid points, but regardless, I do consider these to be distinctly two different skins because that's how they were actually released. Next up from there, we've got everybody's favorite. It's the Merc with the Mouth, known as Deadpool. Deadpool was an absolutely epic precedent in the Fortnite universe, because after we got that season where Deadpool was the secret skin, then of course we, not that much later, received the Marvel themed season, which was just such an epic season. Still my favorite season to date. Just such an awesome battle pass. Super duper fun. The previously mentioned Nexus War battle pass. For Deadpool, we did get a bunch of different designs. So we had classic looking Deadpool, then we had unmasked for that classic design, then we had XForce Deadpool, and then we also got unmasked XForce Deadpool. So you got kind of a variation of 4 different styles that you could equip and use however you see fit. And the cool thing is, because you got 4 different styles, you could technically run an entire team of Deadpools, all of whom would wear a different design. Now, I also do want to mention they did do designs called Ravenpool and Cuddlepool, which were basically Deadpool themed, but they're actually Fortnite characters. So they're based on the Raven design that Fortnite has, but redone in the styles and the color of Deadpool. And then Fortnite has done the Cuddle Bear skin, and they basically recolored it into Deadpool designs. Again, I don't know if you consider those crossover outfits, but if you want to, those are a couple bonus ones that you could throw in here as well. Then we've got Daredevil, who I think turned out pretty cool. I like the design for Daredevil, although when I was going on ahead and compiling all the images for this video. I don't know why, like looking back on it, I kind of wish that maybe they would have done the helmet for this one a little bit differently. It just seems a little bit off, like something about the design is just a tad bit off. Going back on it and like looking at it now, I kind of feel like this is actually one of the weaker designs that they've done, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Next up from there, we've got the Captain. It is Mr. Captain America, looking pretty epic indeed. Obviously, we had to get Captain America at some point in time, and finally, after weeks on end through the Nexus War season, we received the release of Captain America. Next up from there, we're gonna jump into some XForce, and leading that XForce crew was the one and only Cable, who did get 2 different styles. So you had Cable just like regular attire, who turned out super duper sick, just a really cool looking design, and then you had one with the hoodie and kind of the cape, which also looked very cool and had kind of that glowing yellow eye effect that he has on his left eye. Very cool design for sure. Next for the X-Force is Psylocke, who I never would have expected to be released in Fortnite, just because when you really think about all the popular characters out there, Psylocke is popular, but she's nowhere near, you know, let's say the top 20, 30, 50, maybe even characters. Maybe that's exaggerating, but definitely not in the top 30. And you would imagine that the first characters they would focus on are the most popular ones. So when we got Psylocke, I was very surprised, pleasantly so. And of course, in addition to that, even more surprising than Psylocke was Domino. And again, very cool to get Domino in the game. The coolest part about getting this X-Force pack plus the previously mentioned X-Force Deadpool is that once again, you can jump into a squad match with your other friends, all playing as a member of the X-Force, and you've got yourself an X-Force crew rolling through, ready to get that victory royale. From there, we jump into one of my personal favorite designs that they've done, and that is the one and only Blade. I love both of the designs for this one. He's got the epic long trench coat look. That saber that they gave him, super duper sick. Very cool animation for that one. He came along with a really cool emote as well as a glider, which was super duper cool looking. And then of course, he also had the different style without the trench coat, where he has that kind of body armor look similar to the Blade movies, which are still to this day. That first and second Blade movie is absolutely spectacular. So to get Blade in the game, super duper exciting. And then last but certainly not least, we've got the triple pack, or the set of characters that were released in a triple pack, which was the Marvel Royalty and Warriors pack, which featured the long anticipated release of Black Panther, as well as Captain Marvel and Taskmaster. So let's run through those. We had Captain Marvel. Of course, she did have 2 powered up, or 1 powered up variation or style, and then 1 regular Captain Marvel. Then we had Taskmaster. I really like the design for Taskmaster, aside from the face. I think the face just looks odd. I don't know what it is about like the design of the skull. It just looks a little bit like over exaggerated or something, but aside from the face, I think they captured this design really well, and it turned out to be a really cool design. And then the absolute standout of this pack, without a shadow of a doubt, the reason why we all picked this pack up was for Wakanda Forever, Black Panther, who came along with a couple of variations. One charged up look where he had like the purple energy surging through the costume, looked sick. Of course, you did also come along with the cape or no cape design, so you can go and play Black Panther either way, and again, have a squad of just varied Black Panthers on the team, which was super duper cool to see. And so with that in mind, there you have it, guys. That is every single outfit that Fortnite has done a crossover with, again, as of the first week of March of 2021. So of course, if you're watching this, let's say, I don't know, 6 months from now or a year from now, there might have been another 10 different crossover skins. But as of now, this is every Fortnite crossover outfit. Let me know which is your favorite. There's a lot to choose from. There's a lot of epic designs. There's some designs that were disappointing. I pointed out some of those myself, but I'm looking forward to actually seeing what you guys choose, just because I'm very curious to see if we'll see a common trend of, like, let's say a handful of characters that really stand out and are chosen over and over again, or will there be just a plethora of variety where people will be choosing all characters across the entire option pool that I've presented to you guys here today. So with that all being said, guys, don't forget to go on ahead and hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will hopefully catch you all here next time. Peace out. See you later, alligators.